Is Alabama's championship drought about to end, or are Crimson Tide fans destined for more heartbreak in their relentless pursuit of perfection? After 4 long years without hoisting a national championship trophy, the question that haunts every conversation in Tuscaloosa remains the same. How close is this program to reclaiming its throne at the summit of college football? And can Kalen DeBoer be the architect who finally delivers Alabama back to the promised land? Constant excellence defined the Alabama dynasty for over a decade, with the Crimson Tide bludgeoning opponents into submission and Nick Saban stepping past the legendary Bear Bryant with his 7th national championship in what seemed like an inevitable march toward college football immortality. Those championship banners hanging in Bryant-Denny Stadium tell the story of a program that didn't just win titles, but collected them with the systematic precision that made other fan bases simultaneously envious and resentful of Alabama's sustained dominance. But now it's been 4 years and counting since the last Alabama national championship, and while that might not seem like an eternity to most college football programs who would kill for that level of recent success, to the Crimson Tide faithful who have been conditioned to expect championship-level performance every single season, that drought might as well represent 3 decades of futility. Years in Tuscaloosa without championships have to be counted like dog years because the expectations and standards that have been established make anything short of perfection feel like complete failure. The reality of being an Alabama fan means you don't just ask for exceptional performance, you're psychologically conditioned to demand it as the baseline expectation for what this program should deliver every single year. Blame Bear Bryant for establishing the foundation of excellence that made Alabama a household name in college football, and blame Nick Saban for elevating those expectations to heights that seemed almost unreasonable until he actually achieved them season after season. The combination of those two legendary coaches created a culture where national championships aren't just hoped for, they're expected as the natural outcome of what Alabama football represents. No matter how long the detour from championship success might last, whether it's 2 years or 4 years or potentially longer, the same haunting question continues to linger in every conversation, every radio call-in show, every social media debate, and every late-night discussion among passionate fans who bleed crimson and white. How close or how far is Alabama from a legitimate return to the greatness that defined this program for so many years, and what exactly needs to happen for the Crimson Tide to climb back to the mountaintop of college football? The distance from greatness felt immeasurable last year in Nashville when Vanderbilt shocked the college football world by taking down #1 Alabama in a game that perfectly encapsulated everything that had gone wrong with the program's recent trajectory. The image of Vanderbilt players celebrating on the field while Alabama players walked off in stunned silence became the perfect metaphor for how far this once invincible program had fallen from the championship standard that fans had grown accustomed to expecting every single season. That devastating loss to Vanderbilt represented more than just a bad day at the office. It symbolized the complete breakdown of the championship-level execution and mental toughness that had defined Alabama football during the height of the dynasty years. When you're supposed to be the best program in college football and you're losing to teams that you should beat by multiple touchdowns, it forces everyone associated with the program to take a hard look in the mirror and acknowledge that something fundamental needs to change if this program is going to return to championship contention. The heartbreak continued in Tennessee, where Tennessee celebrated a victory that felt like a dagger through the heart of every Alabama fan who remembered when beating the Volunteers was considered an automatic win on the schedule. Josh Heupel's 4th season in Knoxville produced the kind of signature victory that Tennessee fans had been dreaming about for years, and the sight of Volunteers fans rushing the field served as another painful reminder of how the mighty had fallen from their championship perch. But perhaps the most devastating moment of the entire season came when Michigan picked up a fumble and returned it for a touchdown in a game that highlighted every weakness and vulnerability that had been developing within the Alabama program over the previous few seasons. The fundamental execution problems, the lack of attention to detail, and the mental mistakes that championship-caliber teams simply don't make had become recurring themes that suggested the program needed more than just minor adjustments to get back to elite status. However, despite all the disappointment and frustration that defined recent seasons, the Crimson Tide might actually be significantly closer to championship contention than most people realize, and the transformation happening under Kalen DeBoer's leadership could be the catalyst that finally returns this program to the elite level that fans demand and expect. The beauty of DeBoer's approach to building this roster didn't require the kind of desperate measures, glue and duct tape solutions, or quick fixes that often characterize programs trying to climb back to relevance after falling from elite status. Instead, DeBoer has methodically constructed a team that fits perfectly within his offensive and defensive systems, with players who understand their roles and execute their responsibilities with the kind of precision that championship teams require to succeed at the highest level. The emergence of players like Zabeen Brown represents the kind of talent development and player growth that championship programs need to sustain success over multiple seasons. When you watch Brown fire passes into tight coverage or make game-changing interceptions like the one snagged by Bray Heward, you're seeing the development of the kind of playmakers who can change the trajectory of entire games and seasons with their ability to make crucial plays in pivotal moments. This roster construction philosophy has produced a team loaded with rising stars who are just beginning to scratch the surface of their potential, established heavyweights who bring veteran leadership and championship experience, and at least one legitimate superstar who has the ability to take over games and elevate the performance of everyone around him. That combination of youth, experience, and elite talent creates the kind of roster depth and versatility that championship teams need to navigate the grueling demands of a full college football season. The systematic approach to player development and scheme implementation means that every position group understands how they fit within the broader vision of what this team is trying to accomplish, and that level of organizational clarity and purpose often translates into the kind of consistent execution that separates championship contenders from teams that are simply talented but lack the cohesion to maximize their potential when it matters most. While dynasties might be largely a thing of the past in modern college football due to transfer portal dynamics, name, image, and likeness considerations, and the increased parity that has made it more difficult for any single program to maintain sustained dominance over extended periods of time, stellar programs still have a legitimate place in the current landscape of college football. The key is adapting to the new reality while maintaining the core principles and standards that made programs like Alabama championship caliber in the first place. Greatness still has a home in college football, and programs that are willing to evolve with the changing dynamics while maintaining their commitment to excellence can still achieve the kind of sustained success that defines elite programs. The difference is that achieving that level of greatness now requires a more nuanced approach that combines traditional football fundamentals with modern recruiting strategies, transfer portal management, and player development techniques that maximize talent while building the kind of culture that attracts elite players. The evidence suggests that Alabama is knocking on the door of a return to championship contention, and the foundation that DeBoer has established appears to have all the necessary components to support a legitimate run at college football's ultimate prize. The talent is there, the coaching is improving, the system fits the personnel, and the culture is beginning to reflect the championship standards that made this program a dynasty in the first place. The question isn't whether Alabama has the potential to return to greatness. The question is how quickly that potential can be realized and translated into the kind of championship-level performance that Alabama fans have been desperately waiting to see. All the pieces appear to be in place for something special to happen, and college football might be witnessing the early stages of Alabama's return to the elite level that made them the gold standard for championship excellence.